How did I get a Mavic 4 Pro in the US? How does the image quality compare to the Air 3S? Why didn't I get the creator combo? And a whole bunch more. I've had the Mavic 4 Pro for a week and I've gotten a bunch of questions from you all in the YouTube comments. So today I'm going to be answering as many of those questions as I can. Starting with Thundercat Man asks, can you make a comparison of the Air 3S and Mavic 4 Pro? Interested to know the difference in quality. A comparison between those two drones is coming. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see that video. But I can say just from the first week using it, the image quality on the wide angle camera on the Mavic 4 Pro is better than the Air 3S. Now, that's not to say that the Air 3S is by any means bad. It's great for most uses, even a lot of professional uses. But even though it's a 1-inch sensor, it's only a 12 megapixel sensor. So it's just one-to-one sampling the 4K off of the image sensor, whereas the Mavic 4 Pro has a 6K sensor, so it's capturing a lot higher resolution. And even if you're shooting in 4K on the Mavic 4 Pro, it can downsample from 6K to 4K and create a much sharper 4K image. And when I watch the 6K footage from this drone back on my 4K monitor, the detail is just absolutely incredible. It looks so crispy, so professional. So yes, pretty major difference in image quality on the Mavic 4 Pro. I'd say the medium telecamera is probably about the same. I'll do in-depth tests and comparisons later. Dynamic range on the wide camera, I think the Mavic 4 Pro definitely wins here. It also has full-blown D-Log instead of just D-Log M, which does give you quite a bit more dynamic range. So all in all, much better image quality, definitely recommended. And next, can you upload about DJI Mavic 4 Pro controller settings, please? Yes, I certainly can. I will make an entire video on this, but I've already put together a PDF checklist of my best settings for getting cinematic shots with the Mavic 4 Pro, and I'm giving it away completely for free. The link to download it is in the description, so go check that out if you want to get better shots with your Mavic 4 Pro. And obviously subscribe so that you see the full settings video where I break it down even more in depth when I get that made. Next up, where did you purchase it from and how much was it? Looking to purchase one as well. As you probably know, it's really hard to get these in the US. None of the retailers that usually sell DJI drones are selling them. So to get a hold of my Mavic 4 Pro, I had to order one from Canada from a company called Dr. Drone. They're one of the few, if not the only company that I could find that will ship to the US from Canada. And so I got it from them. They have been absolutely great to work with. I paid $2,900 for the Fly More combo shipped from Canada. I initially thought I was going to have to pay 30% customs because of the tariffs, but FedEx hasn't billed me for it, and I actually just talked to Dr. Drone a couple minutes ago, and they said that the tariffs are actually included in their price and are already covered. So at least in my case, I haven't had to pay any additional tariffs. However, they do say that it does vary a little bit depending on what state you're in, what sales tax there is, so it could cost more depending on where you're getting the drone shipped to. And related to that, Average Xbox Gamer asks, how long did it take for you to get your drone from customs? The drone got to customs, I think, on Wednesday, and I had to fill out some forms with FedEx, and it didn't get released until Friday, I think, so not terribly long, but it was over Memorial Day weekend, so I didn't get it until the next Tuesday. But all in all, really not bad timing to clear customs. And if any of you in the US do want to try to get one of these drones in from Canada, I'll put a link to the Dr. Drone website down in the description. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I've just had a really great experience with them. I've called them a few times and they've been happy to answer my questions. Just called them again and confirmed that they are still able to ship them to the US. Now, they have had a ton of people ordering them from the US, so you may have to wait a few days from when you put in your order until they get stock and can ship it. I think I had to wait maybe 4 or 5 days over a weekend until they were able to ship mine because they just didn't have any in stock. They're selling out really fast. So that's something to keep in mind. But if you want to get your hands on one, as far as I know, they are the best place to do that. Next up, Ronald Brown says, were you able to get DJI Care Refresh for the Mavic 4 Pro? And the answer is no, I was not able to get it. It didn't even show me the option when I activated the drone. So no DJI Care Refresh. Ronald also asks, will DJI honor their standard 1-year warranty for the Mavic 4 Pros? From what I've heard, they are not honoring their warranty in the US, so you're kind of on your own with that. Now, I have seen that there's some private DJI repair centers, like for example, Ohio Drone Repair. that have done some repairs on the Mavic 4 Pro, so there may be some possibility to get it repaired, not under warranty. Also, Ronald says, I heard State Farm insurance will not cover the Mavic 4 Pro. No idea, but I have it insured under my insurance policy from Professional Photographers of America. They have a great camera gear insurance plan that you can get, and it covers drones, so I just added my Mavic 4 Pro to that, and so that's what I'm doing for drone insurance on this drone. Another interesting comment that I can only agree with is MCO7 says, I'm with you on gimbal roll. Personally, it makes me nauseous to see the scene spin even slowly. I'm not sure where it would be used apart from a few creative filmmaking techniques in a film, or maybe to simulate a fighter jet flying. And honestly, I kind of agree. To me, it doesn't make me nauseous. I fly FPV, so things tilting a little bit does not bother me, but I just don't particularly love the effect. I can see it being useful in a few very specific situations, like if you want to tilt the camera and kind of have a Dutch angle or slowly turn to like give an unsettling feeling in a film, but most of the time I just don't see a ton of use for it. Next question is, why didn't you get the 128 gigabyte version with the all intra codec? That's a great question. Some other people have been asking why I didn't get it for the remote. I just got the standard Fly More combo with the RC2 remote. And the reason I didn't get the creator combo with all the extra goodies is because it costs like an extra $1,000. And especially with the whole tariff situation, having to pay more, I actually thought I was gonna have to pay even more tariffs. I really didn't feel like spending the extra amount to get an extra remote. And as far as all I really don't need it. The difference in quality between H.265 and all intra is so minimal that, especially if you're mostly posting your footage on YouTube or social media or any of that, you won't ever be able to notice the difference. Now, it could be worth it, for example, if you're flying for a TV show or something where they specifically need to have that particular codec. They've cut ProRes, so it's a little bit less of a standard codec, and so I don't know if it particularly helps when you're flying for big productions to have this weird all intra codec that's not ProRes, but that could be a factor there. Now, that new remote does look fantastic. Again, I just didn't feel like paying that much extra for it. This remote has been pretty good. My main complaint with this one is how slow it is. It's just like really, really slow to respond. It's been that way for a while. If the new remote is faster to load things, it actually might be worth getting the new remote just for that. And I may upgrade to that at some point, but at this point, I'm sticking with the RC2. BP Jack 81 says, that thing is huge. Yes, it is huge. Very, very huge. Here I have the Air 3. Air 3S is exactly the same size. For comparison, you can see that the Mavic 4 Pro is just a way, way bigger drone. If we put one on top of the other, you can see it's just next size up. And that is, in some ways, good because it's going to be a little bit more stable in the wind. It's heavier, but it's not super great because it's a little bit harder to fit into a backpack if you're going out on adventures and filming. Last week, I was filming waterfalls with this drone. Video on that is coming. And by the time I got all my gear in the backpack, it was like 20 pounds with the Mavic and remote and all the batteries making up a not too insignificant part of that. And I had to hike 1.5 miles, pretty steep down a lot of it stairs, and back up. I hiked back up all wet because I lost an FPV and went looking for it in the water. That's a story for another day, but it can get really heavy, especially with other gear in a backpack. So the size is not my favorite, but it is kind of needed to get the longer flight time and all these beautiful cameras, so I'm not going to complain. Next up, will you be picking up ND filters, and if so, DJI brand? I most definitely will be picking up ND filters. I always get ND filters for my drones. I usually don't get the DJI brand ones because ND filters are not that complicated and the DJI ones are not really better than the ones from other brands. I'll probably end up picking up the Freewell ND filters for these. Freewell has been sending me filters for all my drones. I don't know if they'll send me ones for the Mavic 4 Pro. They haven't sent me an email yet, but I used Freewell filters before they ever started sending me filters, and I just trust them as a reliable brand. I know they're not going to cause any image quality issues, whereas some other random brands on Amazon I don't quite trust as much. So my recommendation is the Freewell filters for these. I think they're coming out with them soon, and that reminds me I actually should probably get an order in so that I get some ND filters as soon as possible. Another comment here about the bitrate difference between this and the Air 3S. I really need to make that comparison video because a lot of people are asking questions about those two drones. This definitely has a much higher bit rate than the Air 3S. They actually cut the bit rate on the Air 3S from the Air 3, but I made a whole video about how I didn't see any quality degradation on the Air 3S versus the Air 3. The quality was almost a little bit better, but I wasn't super thrilled that they cut the bit rate. Obviously, the Mavic 4 Pro and H.265 HEVC has a very high bit rate. I haven't checked exactly what it is, but it is higher. Now, I haven't noticed that that is giving me just like world's better color grading flexibility or something, but it probably does need a higher bit rate for the D-Log color profile because that's more flat and is compressing more data into it. It needs to be stretched out more, so it's going to stress a lower bit rate more. So I'm glad that DJI has included a nice high bit rate on the Mavic 4 Pro. Next up, Blair Air says, I've been told we can't switch cameras while recording as the Air 3S now allows. Can you try it? Creator combo is on the way, hopefully in the next few days. Congrats on the new drone. I didn't know that you can now switch cameras on the Air 3S while you're recording. I'll have to check that out and maybe update my firmware because that sounds really great. On the Mavic 4 Pro, you can't switch cameras while you're recording in normal mode, but there is Explore mode, which lets you just smoothly zoom through all the cameras. It's not perfectly smooth. It kind of has a little stop and jump as it switches cameras, but you can keep recording and switch through them, but it doesn't let you record in D-Log, and I don't think you can use manual camera settings either, so it's not really great for filming high quality video, but it is nice for just looking around and being able to zoom in on things. Next up, Sergio Carrasco, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, says, hey, how do you make those grades on your images? That's a great question. There's a couple videos here on the YouTube channel. I use DaVinci Resolve to color grade all of my drone shots. And if you want to learn even more about exactly how I color grade my drone footage, I have an entire drone color grading course called Drone Color Pro where I go through my entire drone color grading process. I show how to use all the tools in DaVinci Resolve, break it down really simply. If you're interested in that, the link to that will be down in the description as well. If you want to learn how to color grade, that'll save you a lot of time. So that is it for the questions for now. All in all, I have been absolutely loving the Mavic 4 Pro. Mostly everything is great about it. There's a couple things that bother me a little bit, like, for example, that the wide angle camera is 28 millimeters instead of 24 millimeters. It sounds like only 2 millimeters tighter, but you do notice it when you're in a tight, confined space trying to fly and film. Like, for example, in a waterfall, you're up against trees. It'd be nice to be just a little bit wider. And also, when you flip the whole gimbal into vertical mode to shoot vertical photos and videos, you only have about 11 degrees up and 11 degrees down gimbal tilt range, which is not the greatest, but on the wide camera you can also just have the camera horizontal, and because it's 6K you can take a full 4K vertical crop out of the middle of the frame, still get high quality vertical shots, and be able to tilt your camera all the way up and down. The shots just won't be quite as wide. And the other thing that I haven't found to be totally great is the ActiveTrack on this. It seems to want to get a little bit too creative and go off into the woods when it's tracking me down the road on my bike. I've also made a whole video testing out the ActiveTrack that's either already posted or I will be posting really soon, so make sure to check that out as well. But this isn't a drone that I would get mostly as an ActiveTrack follow me drone anyway, so there's that. Anyway, all in all, love it. Just a few things that could be improved. Let me know if you have any more questions down in the comments. I will try to answer as many of them as I can. If you want to watch another video about the Mavic 4 Pro, you can click right here. And if you want to get the most cinematic shots with your drone, I have a completely free 45-minute training where I give you all my secret sauce for doing it, my top 10 secrets to get cinematic shots with any drone. Again, completely free. Link to that is down in the description. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.